Hello everyone, and welcome to the Bulldog Business Show, of course, which is just one way that we share the exciting things that are happening in the College of Business here at Mississippi State. We also invite you to join us and follow us on our social media platforms. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, so there's a place also you can find out what's happening. We want to welcome in our podcast listeners as well today. So coming up, we have got the story of a company I know you've heard of, Glo. It is wildly successful, and it got its start in the College of Business. One of the founders will join me just ahead. First, though, as always, we're going to begin with some business bites for you. So recently, we hosted an incredible evening of connection, conversation, and celebration with some fellow Bulldogs and supporters in Jackson as we toasted the launch of Club 1915. Dean Scott Graw and Dr. Sean Malden shared exciting updates in the College of Business, and they encouraged our alumni to join Club 1915, which we've been telling you about. Our thanks to Entergy for sponsoring, and to Bulldog Business alumni Haley Forsackerly and John Hill for helping us and supporting us. We're already planning in the future for some other events in other markets, so keep your eyes open for that. So they dared to do it, and they did it. Members of Undergraduate Women in Business hosted their inaugural DARE conference in April. This was a day-long event that featured workshops and speakers and networking for students. This was an amazing opportunity for those who came to build relationships, gain a better understanding of their own skill sets, and ultimately to feel empowered to enter the workforce. This is a wonderful event for our undergraduates. The planning and the execution was all student-led, and they had wonderful support from our sponsors, so of course we thank them. We look forward to next year's DARE conference. All right, so now let's Glo. You've probably heard of the company. They started making light-up drink cubes and have expanded to liquid-activated light-up sensory toys for children. And all of this started, believe it or not, as a class project that blossomed into the Center for Entrepreneurship, or the E-Center as we call it. Anna Barker is the Chief Creative Officer and co-founder of Glo, and we're so happy that she is joining us today. Anna, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I guess I should say welcome home, right? You're back at MSU today.
Yeah, we're here often. We kind of stay right in their line of sight, and of course our headquarters is right here in Starkville as well, and so we're always happy to be here.
I tell you, my office temporarily is in the E-Center now, and so all tours that happen on campus mostly at some point come through the E-Center because it's such a cool spot on campus, and I love hearing the student ambassadors tell the story of Glo, and we're happy that you can be here today to talk about how this all started. That's turned into really a multi-million-dollar company that started as a class project. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so really, as you said, the entire company really was born out of a classroom project. The way that happened was it was basically a classroom prompt, and which is what created the light up technology that as college students, the first obvious sort of use for that, because it had to be in liquid for the technology to be activated, was to use it in a light up drink cube. You could also use it, in a fountain if you were at an event or something like that. And we were kind of exploring that opportunity as we were students. I met my co-founder Hagen Walker and our CEO in the Entrepreneurship Center, and it was kind of right as we both graduated. We were looking at exploring this as a full-time career opportunity and not just as a student project. And we ended up connecting with a mom who had no affiliation to Mississippi State or to either of us personally, as a matter of fact. And she had a 4-year-old son with autism, and she found out, she got the product at an event, brought it home, took the initiative to find us, reach out to us, and give us a call. And she said, I know you don't know who I am, but I need you to know that this has changed a daily routine for us. Her son, who was 4 and had autism, he really hated bath time. And so, she was calling us as a complete stranger. It was lovely feedback to hear. It was completely unexpected. And she was saying, this may not seem like much to you, but this is an everyday routine for us. This is something that has been really monumental to be so small. And so what it did is, not only was it lovely feedback to hear, but it sparked a conversation and made us start asking questions. Is this something that other children with autism also find trouble with? Do other children with sensory processing disorder struggle at bath time? And is there an application for this sort of light up technology within the greater children's market? And that kind of led to the creation of the Glo Pals, kind of right there in those very early, very precious starting days.
And it was sort of a moment where you were heading down one path with this product, and you get this feedback and you just pivot to something totally different. And really it's become sort of the mission of the company now, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really our main focus. I always say we sort of stumbled into the children's market, and I was kind of blown away at how much I enjoy early childhood development. I find a lot of fulfillment in it. It's a really exciting market to be. The infusion of learning and a child's natural kind of progress of their development and where that is infused with playtime, I think it's just such an interesting combination from a product design and development standpoint. So I really love being in the children's market. It happened really by happenstance, but that pivot really is the best decision that we could have made.
And so now you have all sorts of products that you are manufacturing and selling to help in this area of sensory toys for children.
Yeah, so we that kind of got us into the children's market, and thank goodness it's a wonderful kind of industry to be in while you're still learning. We've met a ton of great people in the industry, and we were kind of able to get our footing and figure out where do we sort of fit in the specialty children's space. And now we have an entire line of sort of sensory-based and developmentally inspired products, all within the children's market.
Well, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about where the company is now, some expansion that has taken place, and we have to have you give some advice to young entrepreneurs out there. So we'll do that when we come back. Stay with us, everybody.
Mississippi State University's College of Business creates connections that can change lives, with more than $2 million available in scholarships next year. Take advantage of the top research institution in the state. Professors have practical experience in their field, and students have the opportunity to work on live projects with partner companies. Earn your MBA online in as few as 10 courses from U.S. News & World Report's Top 100 program. Give your business career a head start. Visit business.msstate.edu to learn more.
All right, we're back, everyone. Anna Barker's here with us from Glo, one of the founders, and we're talking about the fascinating history of the company and what has become the mission now. You all have expanded, so you are based in downtown Starkville, which, you know, as a Starkville girl, I have to say, we truly appreciate that you have decided to make this sort of ground zero for what you do.
For sure. Certainly, as we were getting started, Starkville was really the only option we could consider. We wanted to stay in the state. My co-founder and I were both from the state of Mississippi. We both were educated in the state of Mississippi, and we went to college here. And by staying in Starkville and choosing to really start those very, very early and very important days of the company here, we got to start a company in an environment where everybody wanted us to win. You know, we were constantly being encouraged. It's sort of the exact opposite of what you think of in that sort of shark eat shark sort of.
Yes, exactly. So you were nurtured here, and you're continuing to grow here.
Yeah, and as we went through different stages, we had a lot of encouragement from the community, and so it especially in those early days, Starkville was the best decision for us.
So now you have crossed the state line into Birmingham. So what about the operations in Birmingham?
Yeah, so I moved to Birmingham about a year ago. We opened up an office right at the end of last year, and so we're sort of operating out of Birmingham as our creative and design studio space. So we have a lot of our creative team there and graphic designers, our art director is there as well. And then we also have a product development and design studio there. So it's a great place to kind of prototype and tinker, and an easy central hub, because, you know, a lot of our employees, they aren't all based in Starkville now, so we kind of have them spread out across the country. So when they do come in, it's a kind of a nice central place to meet, and a fun place to meet as well, since it's a kind of a space that's meant for like imagination and creativity and come up with new ideas.
One of the brands that people will recognize that you're affiliated with is Sesame Street. Talk about that relationship with Sesame Street.
Yeah, so we met Sesame Street in our second year in the children's industry. We were so small compared to them. They had just had their 50th anniversary, and we really couldn't be on more opposite ends of the children's industry. We were brand new, had just gotten started. They were sort of an evergreen children's brand who had really stood the test of time. I mean, my parents watched Sesame Street.
Right, household name.
Yeah, and so it was so interesting, because what connected us to them was the autism influence from our early days, and they had just come out with Julia, their first Muppet with autism, so we had a connection point, and we also just really hit it off well, and our timing was incredibly fortunate, because we went to New York and we finalized that deal in February of 2020, kind of right before everything shut down. But we kind of spent a lot of the pandemic building out that partnership with them, and working through the manufacturing challenges that kind of the entire world faced during the pandemic, and then we're able to launch with them, and that led to our second licensing deal with Daniel Tiger and PBS. And so both of those have been really great sort of cornerstone brands within the children's industry to learn from.
As the success has grown, one of the things I love is that you talk about your commitment to being in Starkville is you've also been committed to being a part of the community and giving to the community where you are now, building your success. How important is that for you all as a company to sort of have those community partnerships?
It's incredibly important to us. I mean, I think in general, personally, that business has I think that business has a lot of responsibility for the community that it builds itself within, and I think that it is good business practice to be a part of your community in whatever way possible. Obviously, we're a smaller company, and so even if it's in small ways, I think just showing that that you're a part of the community as well, and that you want to be a part of its success and its continued prosperity, I think is incredibly important to us. And so I'm hoping to have the same sort of values at our office in Birmingham, but certainly unique to Starkville in that it's really where our company is headquartered. It's where we ship all of our products out of, and it's where we got our start.
In these last couple of moments, we have to ask you, put yourself back into 19, 20, 21-year-old Anna when this was early on, in its early days, and there are students on this campus right now in the College of Business who are working through the E-Center who have got these great ideas. We just had Startup Summit a couple of weeks ago. What is your advice to them if they have an idea, if they've got a plan and a pitch?
Sure. So earlier you brought up the sort of pivot that we had to do when we first spoke to that mom, kind of right as we were getting off the ground and deciding to really put our weight behind this and see if we could make it into a viable company. I would say that the reason we were able to do that is that we were still in such a student mindset, having just graduated, so we were acutely aware of all that we didn't know. And so we were constantly asking questions. We were constantly reconsidering our position or the direction that we were going into, and so it did not seem jarring or at all. We weren't super wary about pivoting into a new industry because we still had that kind of student mentality. And so my biggest piece of advice would be to try to hold on to that for as long as you can so that you can ask questions and maintain that sort of curiosity that is so well fostered at a college level. I think that's really important. And to try to continue that on even as the company continues to grow.
Well, it's fantastic advice. Thank you for coming and sharing the story of Glo, continued success. You know you're proud of the College of Business. We love you, so it's great having you here on
campus.
campus. We love it. We really do. Thanks so much, Anna. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, before we go, as always, we know we have to remind you about joining Club 1915. Have you joined Club 1915, Anna?
That's what I'm doing today.
Yeah, you can join us. There's the QR code. It's on the screen right there. That's how you can join. It will take you directly to the site to find out more information about Club 1915. And then you can join. And if you're listening to the podcast, the website is business.msstate.edu/club 1915. You get great messages from the Dean of the College of Business, and we invite you to really cool events. And it's just a great way to stay connected to the College of Business and become a Bulldog for life. So, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.